He always just does tackle when like defenders. I think it's like.
Well, happy Monday, folks. Happy December. I hope this year, the last month of November was great. And what is left of 2025, I hope it's amazing for you. Do me a favor, please make sure you're smashing the like button. Now, is it 2 points dropped? Is it a point gained? You know, we played against a 10-man Chelsea side. I think it's a bit ironic in that Chelsea was so amazing. They were so great. Arsenal was so terrible. Last time I checked, nobody won. You know, it is what it is. When we drew with 10 men, we got mocked for it. They're praised for it. I think it speaks volumes as to where both teams are at. Pardon me. I must admit, when I removed the fact that I don't like Chelsea, because evidently I'm an Arsenal fan, I think Bayern Munich, Fulham, and Maresca's Chelsea, in terms of how they've played against us, when I put my football purist cap on, I think they did well. Obviously, when they went down to 10 men, we still didn't offer anything. We had barely, in comparison to every other game, barely had any touches in their box with 10 or 11 men, barely had any real significant chances. And it just never happened, whether it's because we're lacking players, whatever. It just never happened from the players. I do think in hindsight, looking back, going into the game, so before a ball's kicked, I did think Mikel Arteta probably approached this in a risk-averse way. During the first half, very risk-averse. When we went down to 10 men, based on what Mourinho said at half-time, very risk-averse. Now, we could have threw the kitchen sink and got shagged, but it's been a while that I have felt like this, if I'm honest with you. Like, beyond, you know, I've seen Arteta go for it. Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Manchester City at home, in which we also drew. I've seen you go for it. Now, maybe you never thought you never had your key players, and the way we're playing, it couldn't have been a thing. I don't know. The most jarring thing for me would probably be midfield with 11 players. Because Chelsea even tried to just counter-attack in the second half. We weren't good enough for the goal we conceded, and neither were they. It was midfield. You know, we had no consistent passing lanes, no consistent passing options, very sloppy on the ball. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. But at the same time, you look at the last 3 games, Bayern Munich, Chelsea, Spurs, if you offer 2 wins and a draw in any denomination, you might have been looking at this differently. So it's not the best. It's definitely not the worst. Obviously, the Premier League could come down to fine margins, and you have to chalk, I would say, Liverpool away, Manchester City at home, Sunderland away, and obviously City as games where we might look back. But, you know, and it would have been nice to have 9 points. But I think Arsenal fans, it's always, you know, 1 minute, Wednesday we're the best team in Europe and all those things. Now it's all over and Chelsea are going to do this and that. Chelsea are in the title race, as are Manchester City, as are Arsenal. It's going to fluctuate. There's going to be many twists and turns. God forbid, but we might not win the Premier League. By God's grace, we do win the Premier League. It's far too early to be losing your shit. And I've seen that several times, even down from pre-season all the way up until this point. No doubt it's going to happen time after time and after time. We move to Brentford, get the 3 points. That's all we can do, man. Our next 4 games is like, bro, we have to get on with it. Have to get on with it. Brentford, they're not going to lie over. They don't care that Arsenal are fighting for the league title. They're trying to do their own ambitions. They're 8th. Obviously, it's still too early to be talking about the Premier League. Them and Bournemouth, I'm sure they might be thinking about qualifying for Europe in some capacity. Obviously, you look at Brentford, they're doing a fantastic job with Keith Andrews, who was their set-piece coach. You know, they lost their captain in Norgard, who can't get a game for us. They lost Thomas Frank, and they're flying. And they're one of the kind of teams that, you know, will give problems. But we've got them. Then we've got Aston Villa away. Wolves on paper, admittedly, of our next 4 games, Wolves on paper, bro, if we're serious about winning the league title, don't care how you do it, take up them 3 points and keep it moving. And who's after Wolves? I think Everton away. I don't need to tell you about that. You know, January and December, full stop. The games are coming thick and fast. Life could be better. It also sure as hell could be worse. I will say, though, Mikel Arteta, I do think your game management, like, I'm not happy with our approach, but I can forgive you for the approach. When the approach isn't working, I don't think you change things enough quicker. And as I said, I'm chalking that with Sunderland away and all the other games I said, man. Points dropped considering the second half, but it's not the end of the world. I keep it moving. I hear that. Second half was dead, man. We didn't put them under any real sustained pressure. Didn't make it difficult for them. Didn't, you know, make them live dangerously. And, oh, my God, Sanchez is getting them out of trouble. We didn't play to our maximum. But, you know, Chelsea obviously are a big club. But, you know, It's so bullish and so courageous. All the noise coming out of Chelsea, Arsenal are so angry. Last time I checked, both teams drew, and it's still all to play for. Neither team's clear of each other. That says everything. You know, I go through my comments. You can see the wasp, but let's keep it moving. Teams of fans that support clubs that are not Arsenal rejoicing that they're X amount of points behind Arsenal. And I was annoyed with Saka's finishing yesterday, but looking back at the game, you did all right. I just think Arteta was too risk averse. I know, obviously, every manager's going to miss their key players, but I genuinely think watching the game again, you never had your Magalhaes, you never had your Saliba, you never had Trossard, who's in a good moment. I don't think you really wanted to go for it. Now, I thought Calafiori was injured. He was on a yellow. Miles Lewis-Skelly's going to got a yellow after he subbed him. Zubamendi, I wasn't against it, but I just think you was too risk averse. I think in hindsight, before the red card and the ball's kicked, I do think the players need to hold smoke, but I do think Mikel Arteta came into this game on a, if you can't win, don't lose thing. And it's not the end of the world as much as it kind of is for me, because again, you lot know how I feel about our last 2 years, 3 now, including our performances at Stamford Bridge. And I do think it was a winnable game if we put our best foot forward. We don't have no divine right to win or draw games, but I do think there'll be a feeling of regret. A draw's not the worst of results. Keep it moving, innit? What a Wally Caicedo is, though, man. What a Wally. We just have to move on. Big up everybody tuned in. Make sure you're smashing the like button. And let's crack on, man, really. They were better than us with 11 men. I think they were better than us with 10 men as well, if I'm honest with you. And that's the sort of stuff that annoys me. We didn't make them live dangerously. Maresca said we were a much better team than them, 11 versus 11. But with 10 players, it is more difficult. But we dealt with it outstandingly. Fair play, I'll make you right. Overall, I think that when you don't win with 10 men for 45 minutes, you have to be disappointed. But you have to know the week we had a tough opponent. All of that's true, Gaffer. We did have a tough opponent. We have had a tough run of fixtures. There probably is, for both teams, an element of fatigue. Clearly a bit of injuries. Cole Palmer couldn't start. Estavio got hooked at halftime. And they're doing all of this waffling. I have to be a bit shameless. But I don't think we did enough. Like, 10 men or not, like, we're normally the guys that, yo, a man's been sent off. You can't break us down. And I don't even think Chelsea would take nothing away from them, but it weren't no outstanding defensive setup. I just think the players weren't doing their jobs. Arteta's didn't change stuff. There was no passing lanes. Obviously, there's several injuries throughout the side, as much as I'm not using that as an excuse. But Arteta, I do think, I ain't felt like this in the season for a minute. I do think there was the handbrake went up, you know, like we was kind of talking about in the first half of the season. I do think he didn't quite fancy it. And again, at the same time, yeah, how can I make it make sense? It was a London derby, innit? Like, rightly or wrongly, yellow cards are flying, tackles are flying. I think Arteta felt a bit nervous. You know how Arteta's thing is. It's all about control. So I think the manager could have done better in other moments. And I think that's where our midfield never got anything. Individually, players didn't do enough in it. Like, Marino stunk out the gaff until he scored. Big him up for bagging. We defo missed Trossard. Martinelli, fair enough, you've been out for a minute. Didn't really bring nothing to the table. Saka, I would describe him as frustrating. He obviously set up the goal with Marino. I think his shooting and finishing could have been better. I wouldn't say Odegaard was amazing, but I think he brought something to the table in his little cameo. Madueke, the same. Rice and Timber, for me, head and shoulders above everyone. Hincapié, I think you need to improve aerially, but I think you came out with your reputation intact. I do think when they were blocking the passing lanes, I do have to big up Mascara, Raya, Declan Rice. Big up Rice again, because I think you lot showed a bit more courage. Timber as well, don't let me forget him. So all in all, it's a mixed bag. We weren't amazing. We weren't bad. For me, obviously, it's the result is not the worst, but it's not the best. And it's just the fact that they went to 10 men, innit? And for me as well, at a point, when they went down to 10 men, that was the happiest I was in the game, because I thought, okay, are they going to get shook? So to be fair, credit to Chelsea in their game plan. Arsenal, we got a point. The very fact that, you know, Chelsea are tactical geniuses and we're, you know, it's all over for us, despite the fact that it's a share of the spoils. I think that tells you everything, man. But I make both Maresca and Mikel Arteta right. Arteta, though, if I do look at what Marino said, I just think he was on the control thing. You could see it was a derby. We've had their number for a while. They want to kind of prove themselves against us. Again, the way Chelsea as a football club, their fans, their manager, and their players talk when asked, it reminds me of our first title challenge, the year we bought Gabriel Jesus and Zinchenko. If you speak to them, they'll play it down. But privately, I bet they're dreaming about the title. You're involved in the conversation. You've showed enough consistency to be there. So it is what it is. So you could argue a 6-pointer. I mean, it would have 9 points or whatever it was, or 8-9 points would have been amazing. 5 points in November, even 9 points. We've seen us lead tables for 200 odd days. We need to calm down. All we can do is improve what we need to improve, and keep it moving, really and truly. Like, I do look at where we've dropped points this season, and I am disappointed, but naturally always going to be like that. You can't win them all. I just think there was a lot more to give. And had we have drawn or lost, I would have said fair enough. But I think there was a lot more to give yesterday, regardless of the injuries, fatigue, all these kind of things. Referee, which I'm sure both sets of fans won't agree on much. They'll agree that the referee's a wally. I think there was more to give in it. I do. I genuinely think with the performance, I think anything else is a cop-out. And it's like deja vu, man. 2024. Obviously, we had the Trossard Havertz thing yesterday, the Timber Gyökeres stuff. But for me, I'm counting on one hand yesterday how many chances. Martinelli had a decent effort. Saka had an effort, whereas tame efforts on target. Obviously, you can see the one on screen. We didn't do enough. Football decided in both ends. Neither team did enough in the final third. We didn't do enough defensively. I'm sure we'll be very disappointed about the goal we conceded. I'm sure Chelsea the same. A share of the spoils it is, folks. So yeah, man, smash the like button, all those kind of good stuff, people. We just have to move in it. Like, there's no point crying. I mean, Arsenal fans are always going to be on knife edge. You know, again, everybody lost their shit in the North London derby in pre-season. Again, when we beat Man United, there was a lot of talk. When we lost to Liverpool, when the City draw, Sunderland as well, and there's many others, Sunderland as well, the North London derby, specific to Arsenal fans, Wednesday night, Thursday, we're the best team in the land, best team in the world, can do all of these kind of things. Now we go and draw with Chelsea, man. It does feel like a loss, like with Sunderland, like with City, but people are doing too much. We go and win the next 3-4 in a row. You get where we're going in it, but there's nothing that's going to change in that regards, man. There's nothing that's going to change. The focus firmly is now on Brentford, man. We couldn't go long because Gyökeres didn't start. Eze was the key, but he was quiet. Maresca worked out how to play against us without progressive centre-backs in the team. Cucurella and Gusto were aggressive against Saka and Martinelli. Chelsea's midfield then went man for man with our midfield. I make you right, man. But no one wants to hear that we never had a fully fit team or a half-fit team. You know, is where it is, really. And we still had to make them their generational talent hooked at halftime, etc., etc. And Nems, big up yourself, smash the like button. All we can do is learn. Pardon me, and keep it moving. But at the same time, I do think that was the first time. You know, let's not get it twisted. There's been injuries since August, and we've not, maybe not to that kind of 11, but we've managed to put in good performances. I just think last night, all things considered, going into the game, and the fact that you're missing your players in a purple patch in Trossard, a couple of players are coming back from injury / half fit. You're going into this with a new centre half pairing. Obviously, Saliba's gone down. There's probably minutes in the legs of others. I just think Arteta was he was too risk averse. But I think, you know how they're saying, if you can't win, don't lose. I think that was the thing. I do think I need Gyökeres to get fully fit. One positive is actually not a positive to the game because he didn't play, but it's nice to see Jesus on the bench in some capacity, man. So, yeah, man. When we tried to go long, it didn't really bang. When we tried to play through them, it didn't really bang. There were some moments in the second half. Sorry if I had to kind of force it, really, but yeah, man, it's not good enough, is it? Like, it just weren't there. What's this? Sorry, folks. YouTube's just updating me to something. Sorry, folks. Yeah, man. So let's get back on the horse. So yeah, well, without our first choice centre halves, we just got to keep it moving. For just the second time since the start of the 2022-23 season, Arsenal have not been able to call on at least one of Magalhaes or Saliba in the Premier League. Obviously, that was yesterday. So yeah, and I make Marino right here, people. On one hand, we're disappointed as we didn't win. But on the other hand, we know it'll be a long season, and this is a really tough stadium to come to. We'll take a point. The team showed a good mentality. But we need to show a great mentality. But I make him right with that, man. And you could see what it means to our players. We're vexed, man. We're vexed. But it's been 1,562 days since them lot have moved to us. So, yeah. What a Wally Caicedo is, in it. Why did he do that? I understand being up for a North London derby, being charged and everything else, but it just felt like you've got to not allow it to take you over that side. And to be fair, I think Cucurella should have went. I know Maresca's being shameless, trying to say Hincapie's elbow, Chalobah, nasty little gash from Chalobah. That's actually why I didn't want to lose. That celebration was peeing me off. Marino labelled Caicedo's tackle horrible. I felt my ankle go all the way, but luckily I have very mobile ankles and a body. I knew it was a horrible challenge and it was going to be a red card. Fair play. What a silly thing for him. Fatigue was as much Arsenal's enemy as Chelsea on Sunday. It spoke volumes. Their players looked forlorn as they walked off after a sloppy slog of a match. I can't lie. Yeah, both Chelsea and Arsenal, but I don't think it's a factor. But fatigue is not the reason why neither team got 3 points. It's always I do find that there's obviously prevalence and relevance to that, but it does feel like a bit of a cop out, quite frankly. Ordinarily, a point at the team which went into the weekend as the closest chasers is no catastrophe, but such are the demands this group puts on themselves. They were internally cruising an opponent which slipped from their grasp. I just think we just wanted to win the game, man. I don't think it's any of that. This guy was killing me. When, Marino, he's clamped Marino. He's tried to act like he's fouled. He's then had the cheek to go, I'm getting sent off. You flipping Wally, mate. Absolute Wally. Apparently, we'll be hit with a fine, man. How many bookings were there in the first 15 or so minutes? Apparently, in contrast, Arsenal players were shown yellow cards that is set to hit the club in the pocket. FA rules dictate that if a team receives 6 or more yellow cards in a single match, the club will be fined 25,000. So I guess they're gonna put that in the Christmas party kitty. Zubamendi, Calafiori, Hincapié, Mascara were all booked, as was Gyökeres and Miles Lewis. Skelly people. Pardon me. The 6 yellow cards at the bridge took their tally for the campaign to 18, with only Newcastle and Man United receiving fewer bookings. And I do believe Calafiori, if he gets booked against Brentford, he's out of the game against Villa. So is it a thing where you hope Saliba's back? You do hope Saliba's back. You start Miles Lewis-Skelly against Brentford, and then you might have to use Calafiori. If Saliba's back, him and Mascara, you've got the option in-game to maybe move Hincapié left back. We maneuver. We get into the Aston Villa game. Bob's your uncle. But yeah, we got some fines to be dealing with. We're unbeaten in our last 6 league visits to Stamford Bridge. So yeah, man, only us and Blackburn are doing our thing in that regards. Reece James was good, but I don't want to waffle about no Chelsea players. Great performance from him. Quick look at the top 3. Chelsea haven't played a single top 6 team away. Arsenal have played 5 of the remaining top 8, but only once at home. City's away record looks rough. Points different versus the bottom 10. Arsenal have had the hardest schedule so far. And most importantly, the only thing that matters, there's a lot of football left. The pressure is getting to us. Let's see how the boys react. Roy, I disagree, I disagree. I think any talk around pressure and all of that in March, in April, in May, they're the kind of things I'll say. What pressure? Like, what pressure? If any pressure, it's the pressure that the manager and the players are putting on themselves. And, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, Liverpool. Anytime you don't win, it is a quote-unquote a crisis. Well, I don't look at yesterday and say pressure. I think the tactics were wrong. I don't think the players put their best foot forward. I think the in-game management wasn't quite there. We didn't get into their box, let alone create enough. And when we did, there wasn't the quality to complete the hardest action in football, which is to score goals. I can't say the pressure's getting to us because it's not a high pressure thing if I'm on it. Like, what pressure? If anything, the pressure they put on themselves. I can't say my players looked scared yesterday and all those kind of things. I wouldn't say pressure. And if the pressures are a privilege, at the end of the day, you might not just playing football. As much as it's the end of the world, if we don't win the Prem and whatever, you're just playing football, Pressure's a single mum trying to pay bills. Or a dad that's got mouths to feed and can't find a job. That's pressure. This ain't pressure. This is a game of football. You don't enjoy yourselves. I'm not saying you're wrong, Ray, but I don't think the pressure, and even if the pressure is getting to us, you've dropped points against Chelsea, who are second at this moment in time. Pep Guardiola's City, where don't get twisted, man should have got a lot more from those games, but you drew. Informed Sunderland team, which again, 15 minutes, you got both hands on 3 points. You need to be going fucking back off to London with those 3 points, but we didn't. These are the games we've dropped. Obviously, Liverpool, great free kick. We were not good enough. And actually, I'm on to Arteta, the players as well. But I'm on to Arteta's tactics in these games I'm specifically mentioning. But Liverpool are falling off a cliff now. They were in a lot better moment and shape when we played them, regardless of in that game, the gaffer needs to do more. But you lost to the reigning champions via a mad free kick in which no cop out, because the sequences that led to those free kicks, you lot that follow me on my platform, I was vexed about it. But what pressure? Man, I've dealt with Bayern Munich. Got a point at Chelsea. Beat Atletico Madrid. And granted, as I said, this ain't March and whatnot. Had City in their own camped in their own box. What pressure? Seriously, I'm just genuinely asking. I don't think it's a pressure thing. Like, there's plenty of critics. You just weren't good enough. Gaffer and the players, you just weren't at the races to your standards. You can say whatever, throw in fitness. You just weren't at the races, and it's cool. But what pressure? I don't think we've done what we've done in many years in the Emirates. We're going to big games and we're crumbling because of the crowd and whatnot. We relished it. Seeing Hincapié getting into it with Neto, you're seeing tackles flying for both teams and all these things. And I like it. It was obviously, we're not really, you do see derby games, but, and I know it's a tactical spectacle, Arteta versus Maresca, from two disciples from Pep Guardiola's school of thinking, a bit like Company against Bayern. I know you've got all of that quality players out there, talking points with injuries, but in today's day and age, it just becomes a systemic kind of chess match. So when I'm seeing that chess match, and you're throwing in come on, man, what a derby's about. Like, man, are flying into tackles. There's a bit of argy-bargy. I don't think the Chelsea players or our players crumbled. So we did our thing. Big up Hyper, man. Just joined the stream. What's good, DG? They are, man. Looking forward to Brentford and so on and so forth, man. Mikel poorly manages the Chelsea away game. He fell into the trap 3 seasons in a row. I agree. They just did the Newcastle template. Shin Kicker got caught trying to beat Joe Linton. Oh, I like Caicedo, but like, I think that's his first red card in the Chelsea shirt. How has he managed that one day? And I'm just happy that they can't do the Cucurella cap. Always hard to beat 10 men who were motivated. It's true, Heavy Kev. You're right, but at the same time, 45 minutes down to 10 men, I'm at least expecting at some point to see Chelsea camped in their own box. What he saved Sanchez, great last bit ditch defending and all of those. We never saw that. Let's be real. In what we saw, it still looked like 11 versus 11. And I felt that came at the right time because I think we needed, just before the red card, what was we all doing? Yo, we need to get into halftime. Just get into halftime 0-0, change up the things. And that did happen. And then the red card happened. You thought, okay, cool, let's settle. I just think Arteta kind of went back to trying to control too much in that game. They want to make it a spectacle. Let's just calm down. And I think, in the last run of games we've had, he went against what he's normally done. Now, granted, he could have done what we wanted to see and it could have went left. But normally, he's been, like, in the last few games, we've just been meeting fire with fire. All right, cool, Newcastle, you want to make this a football match? Let's go do it. Like Sunderland, the same. Let's go do it. I think we kind of went back to how we was at the start of the season, handbrake. And sometimes not taking a risk can be a risk, people, as you lot know. So, end of the day, it is what it is. It's happened now. But it is frustrating, man. It is frustrating. And if the Premier League does come down to the fine margins, then for me, and there'll be many, don't get twisted, there'll be many twists and turns, bumps and bruises. But I will be looking at the three draws we've had this year and that defeat. And obviously they went down to 10 men type of thing as well, but it kind of is an even spectacle. 6 corners, 3 aside. They had 11 shots. We had 8. Both teams had 5 shots on target. So neither team did enough on both ends, really. Football's decided in both ends. The 2 goals conceded were not good enough from either side. Neither team did much in the final third. Timber and Rice got us out of trouble. Stavio had a golden opportunity. Saka and Martinelli should be on the score sheet, as should Timber or Gyökeres. But I'm counting that on one hand. One of the happiest things I'm happy about in a frustrating Sunday evening, people? When we scored, beyond the obvious of Marino scoring, Madueke just going to pick up the ball. Like, it was one of those games, man. I have to admit, I'm happy we came away with a what? Do you mean a draw? The slowed down game, we never gained any rhythm. We need to have a conversation about Saka. What conversation about Saka? He grabbed an assist and saved us. His shooting was frustrating the daylights out of me, but he had a good battle and was winning a lot and putting Cucurella under issues. Like, do we need more from Saka and Eze and all our attackers in games like that? And just going forward, we need them to kind of be like what Trossard was on prior to his injury, 1,000,000%. But what conversation? 2 big games in a week. You've grabbed 2 assists. And don't get twisted. Yesterday, I was pissed off in the second half with Saka because it's like he's gone to the bookies. He's lost his money. And like the money, like he's lost so much money, just committed to keep betting. And what I mean by that is he's just shooting for no reason. And that every effort's getting worse than the other. But big up Bakayo. We need him. But I do think I would love some players with a little bit of inevitability, man. It's like games like that. You just want a player to just dance past someone or smash it from 30 yards or just grab a goal, you get out of jail. And there's been times this year we've made that happen. He's shooting from position. Yeah, that was pissing me off. I just alluded to that. I've just alluded to that, but it is what it is. It's gone now. Again, speaking of fines, I don't know if you lot saw this, but over the last few days, Atletico Madrid have been fined by UEFA for racist and discriminatory behavior of supporters in their defeat. I'm sure you would have seen the videos with some of their fans doing the monkey signs and whatnot. Pieces of shit, absolute scumbags. But yeah, Mikel Arteta says Chelsea were targeting some of his players, while Mikel Merino commented on the horrible tackle. I mean, it's gonna happen, bro. They're gonna kick, as we should. They're gonna kick bells out of our players. You know, they're going to. This is things that are going to happen. So we can do the gentleman thing. We all know about the referee, but at the end of the day, only us can liberate ourselves. Meet fire with fire, and them kicking is not why we didn't get 3 points. We put our best foot forward, but they're sliced open. A really tough one. And again, we were meant to be able to handle physicality as we can. A really tough one. Two teams that play with a lot of intensity and aggression. You could sense it in every tackle. The game settled, and after the red card, we needed to settle and make the judgment, but we conceded a foul and a goal. Two top teams fighting for the Premier League, so it's normal. Again, Arteta, that's what I mean about the handbrake. Because I'm not saying this wrong, but you've alluded to the red card. This is you at halftime. You've alluded to the red card. We're still talking about settling. That don't sound like settling. Yo, let's play our football. Let's get some 10 passes going. That's just, let's just kind of play it calm. Don't think it was a free kick, but it was given. Ultimately, it led to the corner. Didn't defend well enough. If there's one criticism of everybody, David Raya is not alone. Bit of no man's land there. And a couple of the goals, I don't think we've defended generally to the standard. What do I mean? This season that we can. I don't care about the clean sheets. I do, but I don't, because you're not going to tell me about the clean sheets and the lack of shots on target. That is absolutely great. Go and look at the goals we've conceded. That we can go up several gears. And this is only coming from a place of love. So yeah, but we conceded a foul and a goal. Two teams fighting for the Premier League, so it's normal. We had 4 players with yellow cards. You could see they were targeting those players. The first action in the second half, we conceded, and we had to get through that. We scored a brilliant goal. We had 2 or 3 big chances. Yeah, we could have been as poor as we think we was and nicked it and grabbed the 3 points. So we'd all love that realm, but it weren't to be. They're a really good team. They scored 7 goals from corners. We've scored 8. Exactly. So again, for my boys, and I'm not really leveraging this one at Mikel Arteta or Nicholas over. For my players, you know that they're good from corners like you. We didn't defend the front post well enough. We didn't defend the corner well enough, innit? So we didn't deserve more than a point. And we have to be quite fortunate that we got a point, if I'm honest with you. It was really fast. I saw the reaction and everyone was saying he's off. Anthony Taylor made the call, and I think it's the right one. It's been a massive week emotionally and physically. We had 1 day less to recover. We knew this, though. They got to play at Stamford Bridge after they just beat Barcelona. I expect and always want to win the game. We have another game on Wednesday. We have to prepare really well to beat a tough opponent like Brentford, and then we have Aston Villa. Marino has said, on one hand, disappointed because we didn't win. When you wear the shirt, you want to win every game. This is a really tough stadium to come and take a point. We could have done things better, but the team showed good mentality, maybe managing the game better and understanding what they were trying to do with 10 men. We could have had more patience with the ball. Patience? Could have got on the ball a bit more. Trying to find the wings and cross with players in the box. Obviously, they're a good side. I felt my ankle go all the way, but luckily I have very mobile ankles and body. I knew it was a horrible challenge and it was going to be a red card. When asked if he had spoken to Caicedo, he said, no, nothing, man. Fuck Caicedo, man. Piece of shit. Anyways, what else has Arteta said? That was a big week, a really intense and emotional match today. You could sense from the beginning how much was at stake. Two teams putting everything into every action. It was more of a battle in the first few minutes, especially. There was a lot of interruption, a lot of intervention from the referee, and that changed the context of the game. We had 4 yellow cards. They had Caicedo out, and in that moment, we have to settle the game. There was an opportunity to do it at halftime. We didn't use it because immediately in the first action, we conceded a foul, a wide free kick, a corner, and a goal. Exactly. So, Arteta, I'm more onto you for not changing anything of note to me as an armchair expert tactically at halftime. Verbally, you obviously told the players, well, go on. For the players, you stepped out bad. Against Bayern Munich, you lot stepped out of that into that second half on crud. We battered Spurs, but you stepped out really good in that second half. Even if I go back to Sunderland, which was a topsy-turvy game, I've said it before, if there was a good period from us in that game, it was how we stepped out in the second half. Today, or better yet, yesterday, it was more negative. So that was where it happened. Because at the bare minimum, we're a very good defensive side. Statistically, us and Chelsea are quite cool. Conceding dumbness. So, boy, there's always something to learn. Good to see Jesus back, man. Wonder if he gets any minutes against Brentford. There was a sense though that the team were like, Saka, let's get us out of this, please, buddy. And he didn't play well offensively as a team. We were pony, man. Curtis Jones is better than Eze. I'll take your word for it, man. He's shooting in positions we could have scored from if he passed. Only thing I can say with Saka, you know that MC is on the yellow and you know he's clumsy. Run at him. Fair. Who'd have thought a game of sport ending in a stalemate would have people in a friendly? Arsenal fans are always going to be on knife edge going into the season. We knew it before a ball was kicked. And you know what the great thing is? And this, do you know what this week shows? A week's a long time in football. In fact, a couple of days. Because I'm not saying, many of you like myself, we're very balanced. We're happy when we beat Bayern, Chelsea. There's some good, some not really positives, but some positives and some more areas of improvement. But for some fans, and they say in life, people, ignorance must be bliss, because for some fans, and I'm talking about the illogical ones, yeah, you can't go from we're the biggest and baddest, we're the best in Europe, we just beat up Bayern Munich, we're amazing. Couple of days later, oh, we're mad rubbish. But I've already seen that play out this season. At the start of it, when we around everything up to just past City, then Newcastle until Sunderland, then isolate that Sunderland game, and then the kind of talking points for the next week. Then after the international break, where we've got this North London derby and Bayern, and that takes us up to now. And it's going to spin several times over. Anywho, man, it is what it is, which is why we always say on this platform, smash the like button. I don't tell you what to think, just think. But yeah, I think that said it there. We didn't settle. Half-time is where we should have got our head sorted out. I think Odegaard did really well, if I'm honest. Yeah, they weren't quite the finesse in the final third, but I actually think Odegaard and Madueke off the bench did okay, man. I think Calafiori did all right. But I think the man, and again, you know what? Prevention is better than cure. I think the gaffer was too shook on they're trying to level this out. Zubimendi does love to go in for a tackle. And on the yellow, he made one great interception, but he probably thought, you know what? Him and Calafiori, they could draw themselves out. I even was a bit shook for Miles Lewis-Kelly. I'm not going to lie, if I'm honest, on the yellow, because it did feel, I'm not going to lie, a part of me did feel it was going to be one of those games, there's going to be a yellow, another red card. And then hopefully, if that was the case for Arsenal, Cucurella we would have got him out of there. But yeah, man, he said, then emotionally, we have to overcome that situation after everything we've been through this week. The team tried its best and scored a great goal. But then we lacked certain patience as well, and certain quality in certain moments to generate more momentum. I don't want to hear about the team tried its best. I don't want to hear about patience, but I do agree with we lacked, the certain quality in certain moments and needing to generate more momentum, more action, more second balls, and more chaos for them in and around the box. With 11 men in the first half, we had two touches in their box. That's where I agree with the gaffer. But again, the players need to pull their socks up, and man might have to demand for the ball. But I could see that and it's above my pay grade. Something needed to change. Mascara is trying to gamble on the ball. Raya's trying to gamble on the ball. Declan Rice is dropping very deep. Something needed to change. There's something Maresca is doing to not allow us to progress play. And there was something that needed to change, Gaffer, and you didn't do it, innit? So, because I've seen you change things and it bangs. So you have to hold that one as well. But I think overall, with everything that we've been through this week, you keep saying that. What have we been through this week, bar the obvious? We know physically it takes a lot. So I hear all of that. But this is the business that we can't keep talking about that. Listen, 3 games, undefeated, can keep it moving, but we can't use this as a cop-out. Because if we won, I don't think I'm going to hear that. I think it's been a positive one, but I'm still disappointed that we didn't get the 3 points. Okay, facts. 17 games unbeaten and 5 points clear. And we're upset about a point. We've got a good platform. Let's just keep it moving. And obviously, unfortunately, is, every day there's more injuries, isn't it? Yes, and especially they had another day to prepare for the game. We knew that. Sometimes we'll have one more day than us, which makes a big difference as well. We lost some players in that period after the Bayern game as well. Very important players. The team, again, with partnerships that we haven't done before, competes really well. Really well. Is there on the match? Is there on the match, but we are not satisfied because we wanted to win the game. I don't know what that means. Maybe they've done him dirty with the typing. We will see if we can recover somebody from that game. We had some good news, like Victor coming on, Martin having some minutes as well. So we're going to need everybody. On Wednesday, we play again, a really tough match at home, and we're going to need everybody. Pardon me. It's been a massive week emotionally, physically. The opponents, we come here and we lost 2 more important players. We had 1 day less to recover as well. Then you have to play at Stamford Bridge, where they just beat Barcelona, one of the best teams in Europe. So it is going to be rocking. So, you know what they say? You can't win, don't lose. Ref fell for the Chelsea trap. They killed the game. But If we had Trossard and Gyökeres from the start, we should beat them. Also, the Bayern game took a lot from some of these players. Chelsea is a good team and to be watched. Now it's the time for winning the Prem and putting the boot on the comp and taking titles, win the league or catapult out of the club. Damn. I needed more from Madueke. I don't think he done enough to hurt them. We are missing Trossard. Hopefully he's back quickly. This is why I wanted a left winger, man. Yeah, Saka is too focused on scoring himself. I need him to make the right decisions. He was annoying me, man. This is a highly competitive league. Every match is a battle. Facts. I mean, when I said Gyökeres was a bit too nice, you lot could be harsh. Theo Walcott, you calling people nice is crazy. This is when you get desperate towards the end of the game and you want to commit loads of bodies forward. You always feel, though, if a right back is in this position, I'd be asking questions. If I was Gyökeres here and saying, look, this is my space, this is why I'm on the pitch. But look, he's been doing it all season, but he'd be disappointed. Gyökeres would have been calling it, no doubt. But it just annoys me when players are out of position. But I understand why Arsenal committed so many bodies. Gyökeres is too nice sometimes, I think. I hear that, but like, I don't know what you're talking about, players being out of position and that. Anyways, Theo, you're relevant to the team. Let's hear what Odegaard has said. It's an intense game, a good battle. Both teams started really aggressively, started strong. There were a lot of duels. Obviously, with the red card, we feel like we should have won the game and done a little bit better in certain areas of the game. In the end, it was a tough battle and a point. We'll have to take that and move on and make sure we win the next game. It's been a massive week for us. Some big games, some big results. Today was another big test for us. We wanted to come here and finish off the week with a win. But as I said, it was a tough battle. They're fighting really hard for it. And we didn't do enough to win the game. So we move on. And now we just have to make sure we win the next one. Fair play. It's amazing to be back out there. I missed it a lot. It's been a weird season for me. I've been out for a while now. I was really focused on the results. So yes, it's been a weird season for me. But I'm back out there and feeling good. So yeah, stay fit, my boy. Stay fit. Mikel Arteta, we've gone over this. What's this? First of all, I think it was a proper derby. It was really tense. You could sense from the beginning that every draw, every action has something on it. Two teams very willing to win. Not much football, a lot of stops, free kicks, yellow cards. So not a lot of fluidity, true. But obviously after the sending off of Caicedo, we wanted to settle the game. We didn't manage to do that. We had 4 more yellow cards. And those players obviously targeted in order to even the game in terms of numbers. And at halftime, we said, let's push it now. Get what we have to do. We were very clear on our intention and how we were going to dominate the game. In the first action, long ball, free kick, corner, and we conceded from a set piece. So then the momentum shifted and ultimately the team have to react to that. We managed to get some good spells without having too much momentum. We scored a great goal. And after that, we had 2 or 3 big chances, but lacked certain detail, especially in the manner we attacked and especially in certain positions. Sanchez had the ball in his hands. Exactly. On the players at the back learning from the match. It's been a big week, starting with the derby, with how emotional and the intention we had to win it. Then to play Bayern Munich 3 days later. Do you know what? Saliba might not be fit. If Saliba's fit for Brentford, I think it's him and Mascara. I don't think Hincapié will start that game. We lost players in those games. And today, for example, we had to play a partnership we haven't played before in a really difficult match. The captain is not here. The 9 is still not here. Kai is still not here. And we lost Trossard in midweek as well. But the team had to react to that. And overall, it's been a really positive week because the difficulty has been immense. But I have this flavor that today we should have won the match and we haven't. That's a learning point for me. Fair enough. At least you want to learn. Why do we keep getting all these injuries? I know injuries are part and parcel of the game and all of that kind of stuff, people. But on a serious note, like, why? Like, and I know there's different injuries and different contexts, but I mean, like, come on now. Like, we can't. I'm getting a bit nervous. Now. Like, we need to keep players fit. I don't know how you do it, but yeah, it is what it is. On whether a tiring week took its toll to a degree for not just Arsenal, for Chelsea as well. We played every 2.5 days, so we had 1 less day than Chelsea to prepare. And on top of that, we lost players, but this is a schedule. Now we're going to have to play Wednesday for sure. It drives you on. There was a lot at stake. We had 2 very intense matches, but that's the beauty of it as well. Not many teams have had the opportunity to play the games we played this week. I'm extremely proud of the team. On taking any positives from a point, that's the feeling that we have and the standards we have set ourselves. Probably it's because of the spirit, the hunger, and how much they want it. It's so incredible. We'll overcome everything. So many things have happened, but we have to prepare very well for Wednesday and try to be better against Brentford. On Saliba and Gabriel, I mean, Arteta said it right here. It's been a headache because we have had a lot of options and changes over the last few months for different reasons. That one is very unexpected. You know what they say, unfortunately, in life, expect the unexpected. It happened yesterday, but the beauty of it is that you have players so willing to play, so willing to connect with each other and to make their relationships even better. So it was a great match for all of us, and it gives you reassurance that whoever is going there to perform, they'll perform. On the squad depth tested at the bridge, to be fair, our depth has been tested since pre-season, exactly, because we lost 6 or 7 players constantly out the side. I have no doubts with the squad we have and the mentality every player has. On the condition of both Saliba and Gabriel, anybody nervous? I don't know. I think Willow has another scan tomorrow to see the extent of that feeling, that sensation that he had. Then we'll know more. With Gabby, there are still some weeks to go. So he says weeks. Do we take his word for gospel? Uncle Ian has said, I'm thinking, Gyökeres, if this is me, I'm screaming so loud, anyone in front of me is going to drop out of the way. That is what I've always been told. You have to shout and let them know you're coming, because then Timber moves his head out of the way and Gyökeres comes in and gets a clean header. I'd be devastated with that. He's got to let him know. Victor has to let Timber know I'm coming, pause, because that is a massive opportunity missed. But again, the very fact that we're overly Uncle Ian's not wrong, neither is Theo, neither is us. But the very fact that we're focused on that, and if not that, the couple of chances from Saka and Martinelli, we never created enough. We never created enough. How much we created against Bayern, the goals, let alone we can't even remember all the chances. The same goals in the North London derby, the same goals against Newcastle, the same goals against City. So we just have to be better, man. What's this saying? What have we learned? Yeah, we definitely left with mixed emotions. Injuries have striking again. Arteta, Marino, we rate you. You're a good deputy. You ain't giving us food for thought because we need to see Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, and Gyökeres fit. You're definitely chipping in and bringing something into the squad. But yeah, injury updates. Saliba, we're going to have to wait until Brentford. There are some rumors online that he'll be okay. Gabriel, he's penciled in for allegedly December/January. Trossard, there's rumors he could be back for Brentford. Who knows? We'll have to see. Kai Havertz, to be honest, like we kind of hearing radio silence with you. We should be hearing a lot more. Maresca believes Hincapié should have been sent off. I asked the referee, said to me that it was not an elbow. No, it wasn't. So is this what they said? Chalobah had a black eye with ice at halftime, but they judge in a different way. Good for Chalobah to go and grab a goal as well, to be fair. I got time for Hincapié, man. Even when he was doing this, I got time for him, but keep this, man. Warrior stuff. Anyone still want Rodrigo? Apparently, the forward player has gone on a longer goal drought in Real Madrid's history than no forward player has gone on a longer goal drought in Real Madrid's history than Rodrigo. 30 games without a goal. That's spooky still. I know we can't do the eye. We have to use our eyes, but that's crazy. Jurien Timber has won every single one of his aerial duels across his last 3 games for Arsenal, Bayern, Tottenham Hotspur, and Chelsea. And he got an assist against Spurs and a goal against Bayern. World class. Fuck it. He is world class. Bukayo Saka has been directly involved in a goal in 5 of his last 7 Premier League appearances against Chelsea. 1 goal, 4 assists. Obviously, he set up Marino yesterday. As I said, Arsenal had just 2 touches in the up box in the opening 45 minutes. That's our fewest in an opposition box since 2021. So something wasn't clicking. Calafiori has picked up 4 yellow cards in just 13 Premier League games this season. He's now just 1 booking away from a 1-match suspension. Obviously, if he gets booked on Wednesday, if he plays against Brentford, he misses Aston Villa. So do you play Miles Lewis-Skelly against Brentford? So that Calafiori is obviously a fixture for the game we need. Talks underway. Arsenal loan exit possible from January until mid-2026. And let me guess, Palmeiras have opened early talks to bring the forward Gabriel Jesus back on loan until June 2026 with an option to buy at the end of the spell. He wants to play for Brazil again, so that could offer him something, but we're going to have to see how he develops. Declan Rice is being linked with Real Madrid while simultaneously being linked with a new contract at our club, so we're definitely not even going to waste time on that. Never seen this guy in my life, but apparently Arsenal, Manchester City, and Chelsea have all sent senior scouts to Poland on multiple occasions this season to watch Jagiellona's 17-year-old midfield prodigy Oscar Petruszewski, who's described as an elegant right-footed central midfielder, comfortable in both the 6 and 8 roles. Bring him. I've seen enough. I ain't seen him play. Bring him enough. So yeah, he's been linked with us. I mean, bring him. He's contracted until 2027. When does he turn 18? I mean, if you can come and be part of the first team, great. If you can make us some profit, also great. When Arsenal were conducting their due diligence into the signing of Noni Madueke this summer, Bukayo Saka gave Arteta a glowing reference of the player. Saka believed Madueke would make the squad and himself better by adding more competition. Big up Agent Saka. And we do miss you, Trossard. Trossard, get fit, man. Please get fit. Please get fit. What's Romano talking about here? Mendoza. Arsenal are keeping a close eye on the player. Not only Arsenal, because also Italian and Spanish clubs are monitoring. Spanish quality player, 20 million, 20 years old, 20 million euros could be a bargain. Arsenal very good with these opportunities. Mascara was not about the release clause. It was an opportunity, for example, out of contract at Valencia. Arsenal and Andrea Berta decided to go for it and sign a top defender for a very cheap price. So Mendoza could be an opportunity at the moment. Arsenal are happy with the midfielders they have. So it's not something imminent, but they're monitoring the player. There are more clubs interested in him. So let's see what's going to happen. But for sure, an interesting player to follow. In my opinion, put the money down and let him stay at least until next year in his current employers. I don't think there's a selection headache, man, apart from how the hell do we play in place of our players that are injured? What's this? Arsenal's next 5 Premier League fixtures compared to title rivals Chelsea and City. Just show us. We've got Brentford at home, Aston Villa away, Wolves at home, Everton away, and Brighton at home, people. Manchester City are Fulham away, Sunderland at home, Crystal Palace away, West Ham at home, Forest away, Chelsea got Leeds away, Bournemouth away, Everton at home, Newcastle away, Villa at home. Aye, you free. Leeds, I hope you can do a thing. You lot are fighting for your lives. Newcastle, Everton, Bournemouth, I need something. I need something. I need something. So we have to see. I don't care about no signings. We need to have play for off-ball running over. Otherwise, we will struggle. Hincapié chipped up Chalobah and João Pedro. Left both with facial bruises. The man is a beast. Absolute warrior. False 9 don't work against physical teams. That's cap. But it don't work what we did. You just invite high line. You have to keep these teams running back. Really that simple. We also don't have any players for off-the-ball runners, so that's an issue. If Maresca thinks that's a red card, he's lost his mind. Same thing happened last year at the bridge with Havertz. It's just what we do, man. It's a jarring, man. It's jarring. Mascara's at fault for the Chelsea goal. Mascara weaker in the air, in my opinion. Brentford long throws would be a problem. Not only injuries, DG, it's the timing of them always before a tough game. It's jarring. 14 still en route. Little bump in the road. GBG settings at the Emirates. Why is Marino always on 9 in this fixture? To be fair, he's slide delivered. But I do think Arteta needs to walk away. Like, it's an added... He takes options and kind of makes them the main thing. So he's going to need to not do that. Why is Odegaard coming off the bench this fixture? We knew they will play Newcastle football, and Mikel hasn't changed in 3 games in a row. Poor prep. To be fair, we all knew Odegaard was not starting. If we had Trossard and Gyökeres from the start, we would have beat them. Also, the Bayern game took a lot from some of our players. Sadiq, you're not wrong here, but I do think we get into this trap of when the players that are not involved, we have them and it's a different outcome. It's not that it's wrong or we couldn't have, but there's also, these guys have been there when results haven't gone our way. And also, at the end of the day, they're not there. I genuinely believe, both teams, there's a bit of tiredness, the ref, the tactical setup. It might just, man, a human. It might just not be your day. Arteta's tactics, the players not being at it. All of these things and many things that I haven't mentioned that you lot can throw in, all of these things are factors. But then when I park all of the logic that you lot are saying on one side and I look at my team, regardless of who's out there, and there being no Trossard, no Magalhaes, no Saliba, Odegaard not really fit, Madueke coming back from injury, Jesus out for 11 months, mysteriously on the bench, no Dowman, whatever you want to say, Saka, all this stuff, whatever you want to say, I think there's enough out there to do better, to do 20 times better than they did yesterday. 20 times better. I've seen you do it. It just weren't our day. Hold the draw. Still left with something. The draws do feel like defeats. We know how problematic draws can be. We had 14 of them last year, but for me, we could have done better. And make no mistake, Chelsea are a good team. Probably their fans are overdoing it, being overly bullish, in my opinion, based on that game, because both teams got a point, but they're a good team. So yeah, it is what it is. BR, one love, Makili, one love. Sunderland physical game, Chelsea physical game. Marino was false 9. We conceded first by set piece. We also drew both games. It's not a coincidence. Food for thought for the gaff. You're not wrong. Big up DG. Pathetic performance in the London derby. Eze Saka need to step up their performance. The whole team. And I don't know what it is, but I do make social joins right about one thing. Like, this is now the 3rd year in a row, specifically at Stamford Bridge. We're on the players as well as the gaffer, just on some foolishness, man. Like, I like Marino. Marino can bring something to the table. Like, you see these little Bandulu games, in theory, he can do it, but we take an option and make it the main thing. Granted, your hands are kind of crippled, but I'm not going to lie. I'm more blame Arteta for yesterday than the players. I'm not going to lie to you. I genuinely do. I think, genuinely watching the game again, before a ball was kicked, I think he was on the pragmatic thing, which isn't wrong. The start of the game, I think we didn't change anything in midfield. I still think it was pragmatic. Obviously, fair enough at halftime. If you spoke to them and they've gone and conceded that idiot sequences of play which led to the corner, then we're in issues. It's just, yeah, man, everyone's just got to do better, man. It's as simple as that. It's literally as simple as that, man. We needed to rotate for the Munich game. That's why Saliba is out. Timber is the next one to get injured. God forbid. Rotate and do what, though? I'm not being funny, but I hear you. But I think we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. And I'm happy we got the 3 points, because if you fuck up against Bayern, Club Brugge ain't going to be easy. I can't lie. This week it's the strongest team stuff. They compared my striker to Glock Lesnar. Yokere's got more goals than Sesko, bro. Don't think we never saw Lenny Euro concede a penalty, my boy. Do you feel Lewis Skelly has lost his confidence? Not really. You just look rusty. And I'm a bit annoyed at several teammates, because like people are clipping up that Lewis Skelly thing where he's put it out with his right. Raya talk. Lewis Skelly actually did the right thing. You ain't got eyes in your back of your head. I think Arteta psyched himself out, man. Like, I get it. I'm not against, oh shit, there's a lot of cards. Caicedo's gone. The way the game's going. Calafiori's on the yellow. Zubi's on the yellow. Pull them out. But normally I think the manager, prior to that in this run of games, he's shown a bit more metal than that, if it makes sense, man. So, man, it's food for thought. I like Marino as a player. I backed him when some was shitting on him, but it hurts me to watch him run and press the opponents back. Bro, Marino pressing is horrible. He's such an intelligent man. He ain't got the legs, man. He ain't got the legs. He just ain't got the legs. It's kind of horrible to watch, man. Xerxes. Shit guy finally got his first goal in 25 games. And this is the shameless stuff. Fair enough. Hey, United finally got their first bad bitch. Finally got 3 points. Behaving mad. Big up beyond. I see you smiling. Make sure you're here when you don't do that, though. But on a serious note, though, man, I don't want to hear his BS, BR's BS. I'm going to edit a video for you lot, people. So, yeah, man, you lot stay blessed. Stay safe. Again, if there's any content, you know we're out. Again, I released a video this morning, so I hope you lot have checked that out. All attention turns to Brentford, man. Appreciate you lot that have been in this 52 minutes. One love. I think I want to hear BR waffling.
I think like